Well, good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. The GFS is finally in for this morning. It's about 11:45 a.m. I wanted to do the video after I saw the morning models process because this is a very complicated setup. As you can see, we've got essentially two waves moving down. You got one wave here moving in, and we'll talk about that and what all that means for us in just a second. Today's video update is being sponsored by High Voltage Mobile DJ Service. Nathan has a great set of music and tools that he can provide you for your next wedding or event where you need a mobile DJ. He's got that great mobile outdoor stage that you can use, the light show that you can use about any type of music that you can imagine he can play. Give him a call, 630-9465, or visit him at djhighvoltage.com. Be sure to tell him Southern Indiana Weather sent you, and big thanks to the High Voltage for sponsoring us for these past couple of months. We're also sponsored today by Metal Magic around the Washington area. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555. Folks, severe weather season is going to be upon us before we know it. It doesn't feel like it right now. I mean, we're having a gorgeous day today, but tomorrow we're talking about the potential of snow in the forecast. Seems odd maybe to talk about severe weather, but it is March. It'll be upon us before we know it, and as you well know, as much as I do, whenever severe weather strikes, the threat of hail comes with it. Metal Magic has a great traveling hail team. They can do paintless dent repair, in addition to some great custom detailing. You can see the pictures on the bottom of your screen about some of the great work that they do. So be sure to give Chad a call for all of your detailing and hail repair needs. All right. Here's the way the current setup is. Let me just sort of illustrate this for you. Right now, we've got one storm system that's down here moving in, forming a low pressure. You've got another system over here that's moving in, and at the same time, you have a cold front up to our north that's going to be continuing to dive south. That's going to put a reinforcing shot of cold air in. You've already got a cold front that's sort of stalled out here, so this low is actually going to start to ride up that a little bit. The piece of energy here is going to move down to meet it, and where it's going to cause the big problems is sort of right over us here, unfortunately. And it looks like it could be some pretty significant problems at that. What you're looking at here from the Weather Prediction Center is the forecasted path of this low. A more southern track like this would mean more snow for Kentucky. A track favoring more towards the border of Tennessee and Alabama up here would favor more snow for us. And what you can see is the individual dots here are the members of the different models for this particular forecast time. Some of them take it more up here, some of them take it more south, and here's what the average of these are and where the Weather Prediction Center believes it will go. Overall, I don't think this is going to be a big snowfall for us, and for a number of reasons. Number one, we've been so warm, which is an absolutely wonderful thing lately to have been this warm again after the cold winter that we've had. Ninth coldest winter on record in Indiana and 20th coldest winter on record in Kentucky, so you can see it's just been a stinking cold winter. I think we're all ready for spring to start again. But with the warm pavement temperatures, yes, we end up may having some problems, but I don't think it's going to be as significant as it could be. It's not like we've been in the teens as we were back in January and February when we got the snow and we got major road problems. There could be a few slick spots out there, so keep that in mind. Let's talk about how much snow that we can expect. Let's go ahead and take a look at what future radar says. This is the This is the high resolution NAM from about 8 p.m. last night. I don't like the past two runs of the high resolution NAM. I think they've suppressed it a little bit too far to the south. So we use this older run, even though it's a little bit older. I think it's got the right idea better. Here we are by the overnight hours, and the rain starts to move in. You can see the purple start to mix in with it, so this is the indication that we may end up with a wintry mess of a potential little bit of sleet, possibly some freezing rain, but I'm leaning more towards sleet at this point in with it before the snows move over it. Some of it could be reasonably heavy for us as well. Now, the latest versions of the NAM actually take this snow and bury it south of the Ohio River a little bit better and give us just very minor accumulations. So there are some differences there, and I've sort of averaged the two. And whenever you see my forecasted snow map here in just a second, you'll see that I've sort of taken the average of those out a little bit. Essentially what you have going on is an Arctic high pressure up here. Right up and about here, and that's so as this system moves in, that's also going to move in behind it, and that should allow this snow to only move in so far up to our north, and that's the bottom line with this. And since it's only going to move so far in up to our north, um, it's going to be limited on who can get anything. All right, let's take a look at those snow maps. Here's what the high resolution NAM said yesterday, and you can see basically right along the Ohio River and about 50 miles on either side of it. That's where you're going to get a decent amount of snowfall here. Heavy snowfall out to our west, I'm not buying that. And this could, um, if this is right, it ends up thinking some people in the purple shade start 6 inches. So again, 2 to 6 inches, really probably a 2 to 4 inch swath with maybe isolated 6 inch pockets here is what the high resolution NAM would be saying. Regular NAM from this morning could not disagree more. A very minor accumulations at best expresses it all to our south. What the Euro model does. It takes some small accumulations for southern Indiana, suppresses the most of it over Kentucky. Canadian, again, that same theme, suppresses most of it over Kentucky. But then let's take a look at what the GFS, the latest GFS has rolled in. And again, it's a little bit decent more for Kentucky down here, but it keeps the most of the swath over southern Indiana, other southern Indiana. So basically, I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take sort of an average between the two to get much of anything out of this of any value. And essentially, that's what I have done in mine. I have taken this, and you'll notice dusting, trace, dusting. I put those in there to clarify this because really I think there's a huge bust potential for this system. And what I mean by bust potential is I think that pretty much any of us could end up seeing next to nothing out of this event snow-wise. There could be a potential that all of us just get a little bit of sleet, and it may even stay rain longer, and we get just a little bit of snow. And it may be that we have a decent amount of snowfall from the sky, but because we've been so warm, we don't see much of it stick. So there's certainly that possibility there. On the other hand, if we get some heavier snow bursts come out of this, if we get one of those deformation bands set up, those deformation zones that we've talked about before, basically that's just the idea of the models taking a heavier snow band and setting it up over one area in a narrow band. Looks like to me, basically, that band would set up anywhere right along the Ohio River and maybe 50 miles to the north or south of it, sort of in a strip like this. And so I've put that into the 2 inch plus zone, but I've also had a trace there because, again, this is going to be one of those systems where it's not going to put down even totals pretty nicely over the map. You're going to see random totals here and there is what I really think out of the system. Overall, I don't think it's a big system. I think it's just going to be more of a mess than anything. You know, the good news is our main highways would probably, well, they're going to be treated most likely. And with the warmer weather we've had, the pavement temp should be up into the 40s and 50s even still potentially by the time this starts to fall in there. And that should be pretty good to keep it from accumulating until maybe later that night when we start to dip down to the mid 20s. That's on the Monday morning commute where it might have a little bit more of slick spots. Probably later in Sunday night and into Monday mornings where I could see that potentially becoming a problem. But at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big system to me. We'll fine tune this graphic. Surely this graphic will probably need to be changed tomorrow morning, most likely, based on new data, maybe even later tonight. But this gives you an idea of what I'm thinking for that heavier placement zone. Again, trace to 1 inch, trace to 1 inch, dusting, trace to 2 inch. Wherever this zone ends up setting up, maybe a little bit more than 2 inches in isolated spots. Not a big thing for any of us at this point. But before we get there, at least we have a good day in store today, so there's always some good news, right? Here's your Plan Your Day forecast sponsored by Ubelor & Sons, and look at this. 60s around the area under mostly sunny skies today. It'll cloud up tonight, but hey, we've got a great day in store, so go out there, get outside, take your kids to the park, go have a picnic this afternoon, do something. We're already in the 50s as we speak at this moment. If I just put the surface observation on here and actually get to the latest observations, I mean, look at the warm temperatures we're already surging to in the area, and it's sunny skies around here, and we're already up to 54 in the Huntingburg area, 53 in Evansville, and even 51 all the way in Bloomington. The mercury is only going to continue to rise today, folks, so it's going to be an absolutely beautiful thing. Get outside and enjoy it while you can. Okay, southernindianaweather.com. We'll take a look at your Ubelor & Sons 7-day forecast. Again, 62 for the high today, down to 40 tonight. So, but that's going to be your high temperature tomorrow. I think we start out about 40, and then you start to fall slowly a little bit through the day. Don't think it's going to be a rapid fall behind this front, but we will go down to a low of 26 overnight. Again, rain likely early, and then changing to sleet and snow probably during those. I could see it from basically about 11 a.m. to noon onward when we start to see some of that changeover at this point. I don't think it's going to change really over in the morning, and maybe even as late as 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon for some of us. It just sort of depends. Quicker in the north, slower towards as you get towards the Ohio River. So again, how much snow expected? Snow and sleet accumulation are expected, yeah. Trace to 1 inch for most of us, maybe 2 inch or more in some of those isolated spots. We'll keep an eye on it, but again, I don't believe it's going to be a huge event for it. Still cold on Monday, partly cloudy and 43. The warming trend begins after that. Partly cloudy again on Tuesday, up to 58. We'll take it. A little bit of rain likely under mostly cloudy skies, and Wednesday still in the 50s, though, back to 60s potentially by next weekend. So hey, we'll take it. The average high is right around 60 this time of the year. So this is where we should be. Enjoy this day while you can, folks. Again, remember what I said, up, down. That's pretty much the pattern. And up today, down tomorrow, stays down. Then we go back up again. And hopefully we'll eventually get this to the point where it will stay up. But I do see some cold shots coming up in the extended range, unfortunately. I wish I didn't, but, and by cold shots, I will say this. I don't see any 30s for highs, but I see some 40s for highs potentially later in the month again. I know, it's unfortunate, but winter just won't let her grip loose on us, will she? We'll get there, folks. April's coming. All right, that's it for today, folks. For Southern Indiana weather, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. We'll have another one of these updates later on down the road. Stay safe. Stay tuned to Facebook for more.